Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about something deeply personal, yet incredibly transformative: forgiveness. Whether it's a past betrayal, an argument with a loved one, or even forgiving ourselves for our own mistakes, forgiveness is one of the most challenging but important things we can do for our mental health. But why is it so crucial? How does holding on to grudges or unresolved resentment affect our well-being? In today's video, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind forgiveness, how it influences our mental and emotional health, and share powerful practices that can help you let go and find peace. Let's get started. Before we explore why forgiveness is important, let's first define what forgiveness really is. Psychologically speaking, forgiveness isn't about excusing someone's behavior or pretending that hurt never happened. It's about letting go of the anger, resentment, and desire for revenge that keep you emotionally tied to the pain. It's a conscious choice to release those negative feelings so that they no longer control your thoughts or your life. Dr. Robert Enright, a leading psychologist and pioneer in the scientific study of forgiveness, explains that forgiveness is a process of changing how we view and relate to someone who has hurt us. This shift allows us to move past the negative emotions associated with the wrongdoing, giving us the emotional freedom to live a healthier, more fulfilling life. Importantly, forgiveness is not always about reconciliation. You can forgive someone without inviting them back into your life, and sometimes forgiveness is about freeing yourself, not the other person. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. Now let's talk about what happens when we don't forgive. Holding on to grudges or resentment can have serious consequences for our mental health. Research has shown that holding on to anger or bitterness can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even depression. When we dwell on past hurts, we are continuously activating our body's stress response, which keeps us in a state of tension and emotional turmoil. In fact, a 2010 study published in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who struggle to forgive are more likely to experience higher levels of psychological stress, which contributes to conditions like anxiety, depression, and even chronic physical health problems like heart disease and high blood pressure. Why does this happen? When we hold on to anger or resentment, we remain emotionally attached to the very thing that hurt us. Our minds replay the event, keeping the wound open and raw. Over time, this chronic emotional stress can take a toll on our physical and mental well-being. By contrast, when we choose to forgive, we allow ourselves to break free from that emotional attachment. We stop replaying the hurt in our minds, and our nervous system can finally relax. In short, forgiveness isn't just about healing relationships, it's about healing ourselves. Let's talk about the positive effects of forgiveness on mental health. Research shows that practicing forgiveness leads to a number of significant psychological benefits, including reduced stress, lower anxiety levels, improved mood, and a greater sense of overall well-being. One key study published in the Journal of Health Psychology found that people who were able to forgive themselves and others experienced lower levels of anxiety and depression, as well as higher levels of life satisfaction. By letting go of negative emotions, they were able to reduce their overall emotional burden, which improved their mental health. Forgiveness also enhances emotional resilience. When we forgive, we are better able to navigate future challenges because we're not carrying the weight of unresolved pain. Forgiveness helps us become more adaptable, less reactive, and more in control of our emotional state. Another surprising benefit of forgiveness is its effect on relationships. When we forgive, we're more likely to engage in healthy communication, rebuild trust, and improve emotional intimacy, not just with the person we're forgiving, but with others in our lives as well. The more we practice forgiveness, the more we open ourselves up to positive, fulfilling connections. If forgiveness is so beneficial, why do we struggle with it? One reason is that forgiveness can feel like giving up power. When someone hurts us, holding on to anger can feel like a way of staying in control. But in reality, it keeps us trapped in the past. Psychologically, forgiving someone can be challenging because it involves vulnerability. It forces us to confront our pain, acknowledge our emotions, and sometimes admit that we're holding on to anger for our own reasons, whether it's to protect ourselves from future hurt or to avoid confronting deeper emotional wounds. Another barrier to forgiveness is fear. We might fear that if we forgive, we're letting the person off the hook or that the hurt will happen again. But as we mentioned earlier, forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing. It's about reclaiming your emotional peace and deciding that the person's actions will no longer control your happiness. So how do we actually practice forgiveness? It's important to understand that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time decision. It often requires time, reflection, and intentional action. Here are a few psychological techniques you can use to help you along the way. The first step in forgiveness is acknowledging the hurt. You can't forgive someone if you haven't fully processed the pain they caused. This might involve journaling about your feelings, talking to a therapist, or simply giving yourself space to feel the emotions associated with the event. Psychologists often recommend that you validate your own feelings before moving forward with forgiveness. It's okay to feel hurt, angry, or betrayed. Forgiveness doesn't mean minimizing or ignoring these emotions. It means working through them. Next, try to shift your perspective. This doesn't mean justifying or excusing the other person's actions, but it does involve understanding that people are imperfect and make mistakes. Sometimes people hurt us out of their own pain, insecurity, or lack of awareness. By reframing the situation, you can begin to view the other person with empathy, which makes the process of forgiveness easier. Empathy allows you to see the humanity in others, recognizing that they, too, are dealing with their own struggles. Another key part of forgiveness is letting go of expectations, especially the expectation that the person who hurt you will apologize or change. Waiting for an apology or validation from the other person can keep you stuck. Forgiveness is about taking control of your emotional well-being, regardless of what the other person does or doesn't do. One powerful way to practice forgiveness is through rituals. For example, you might write a letter to the person who hurt you, even if you don't send it, to express your feelings and release the pain. Some people find it helpful to perform a symbolic act like burning the letter to represent letting go. Rituals can help give closure to unresolved feelings and provide a sense of finality, helping you move forward with peace. Finally, don't forget to practice self-forgiveness. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Whether it's a past mistake, regret, or a perceived failure, forgiving yourself is essential for healing and mental health. Self-forgiveness involves recognizing that you're human and that making mistakes is part of the journey. Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would offer to a friend. Forgiveness isn't always easy, but it is one of the most powerful things you can do for your mental health. By letting go of resentment and embracing forgiveness, you free yourself from the emotional chains of the past. Remember, forgiveness is about reclaiming your peace, not about excusing behavior. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video on emotional healing, personal growth, and mental well-being. And in the comments below, let me know, have you ever struggled with forgiveness? How did it affect your mental health? Let's continue the conversation and support each other on this journey toward healing and emotional freedom.